Now we will look at types of speech errors. Speech error fall into one of 8 given categories: exchange, substitution, addition, deletion, anticipation, perservations, blends, and shifts. According to Fromkin, the highest occurrence frequency of slip of tongues happen in 3 levels: phoneme, morpheme, and word. It is very difficult for the linguist to study different factors, reason being that since they are unconscious utterances, the speaker is not aware of the utterances which lead to the slip of tongues or which cause these speech errors. And since the listener does not pause to correct it or does not feel any inhibition or lack of understanding of the complete message despite this utterance or despite the speech error, therefore it is difficult for the linguist to have the observable data, to analyze different types and what factors there are in terms of being responsible for the production of speech errors. We will now look at these different types which have been classified under different headings, and also see that how still the challenge for the linguists are, challenges that linguists face is primarily due to the fact that they are unconscious utterances, and it is difficult to look at each type and determine what are the distinctive or specific factors that are responsible for that. We can look at these types, we can look at the examples of these types, but the underlying process would remain a challenge for many linguists. The first type is shift, and then exchange, anticipation, perseveration, addition, deletion, substitution, and blend. Now, in shift, one speech segment disappears from its appropriate location and appears somewhere else. Now look at the example. That's so, she'll be ready in case she decides to hit it. That's so, she'll be ready in case she decides to hit it. Decide to hit it. She decides to hit it. So as you can see, one segment disappears from its appropriate location and appears somewhere else. Now in exchange are in fact double shifts in which 2 linguistic units exchange places. Fancy getting your model renosed. Getting your nose remodeled. Now, this exchange is very strange, where it's a double shift. 2 linguistic units exchange places. Fancy getting your model renosed, getting your nose remodeled. Anticipation. Anticipation occurs when a later segment takes the place of an earlier one. They differ from shifts in that the segment that intrudes on another also remains in its correct location and thus is used twice. Bake my bike. Instead of take my bike, bake my bike. That is anticipation. Perseveration occurs when an earlier segment replaces a later item. He pulled a tantrum instead of he pulled a tantrum. So earlier segment is replaced a later item. Addition, add linguistic material, whereas deletions have something out. Addition has the addition of the linguistic material and deletion. So we see I did not explain this carefully enough. I did not explain this carefully enough. Carefully enough, redundant. This is, if carefully should have been sufficient, so this is the addition of another linguistic unit or linguistic item. Deletion. I'll just get up and mutter intelligibly. Now, this unintelligibly. So there is deletion in this sentence and addition in the above sentence. Substitution. Substitutions occur when one segment is replaced by an intruder. These differ from previously described slips in the fact that the source of the intrusion may not be in this sentence. At slow speeds, it's too light. Although it should have been heavy. So we see that substitution basically is instead of light, it should have been heavy. Blend is another type. Blends apparently occur when more than one word is being considered and the two intended items fuse or blend into single item. That child is looking to be spaddled or spanked or paddled. The child is looking to be spaddled. In fact, it has to be either spanked or paddled. So you see the blending of the two linguistic features. So these are the different types of speech errors. So by looking at these speech errors, one can see the difference in terms of the morphemes, the words, the arrangement of the morphemes, the arrangement of different words. But yet, what lead to these kinds of speech errors, that area is still there for linguists to come up with the explanation. Normal speech contains large number of slips of tongue. Though these mostly pass unnoticed, the errors fall into patterns and it is possible to draw conclusions from them about the underlying mechanism which is involved.